So in Cuba, they have a system for lines, for queuing up there. That's something different I've never really encountered before. If you go to like a post office, you go to a bank in Cuba, you're not going to see like a formal line, like people standing in a row. What you're going to see is a mess of people. You're going to walk there, you see a mess of people hanging around. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to say to the group, "¿Quién es el último?" Who's the last person? And somebody's going to go, "I am." And you look at that person, they make eye contact with you, and you say, "Okay, cool. You know that I'm now the last person. The line knows it." And you can go do laundry, you can go get some, like an espresso or something like that. That's cool. A few years ago, I'm in Cuba, I'm in Havana, and I'd heard this, and I'm at a bus depot, and I'm like, well, I guess I gotta try this out. So I go to where I'm gonna buy a ticket, and again, mess of people, and so I go, ¿Quién es el último? And this guy goes, soy, like that, and I go, that definitely worked. So I waited for like 10 minutes, and as a North American, I'm pretty impatient, and I was like, you know what, forget this. I don't need to get the ticket today. I'm just going to wander around and take some pictures. This is old Deco-style building, so I'm walking around. 10, 15 minutes later, the same guy comes running up to me and grabs me and goes, "It's your turn, let's go." And I go, "Whoa, no, it's cool, man. I'm going to come back tomorrow." He's like, "Tomorrow? No, your turn, let's go." And we went back and I got my ticket. I thought, that was really cool. Because like most people, I don't like waiting in lines. Like I said, I'm a pretty impatient person. I feel like I always have something better to do when I'm in a line, even if something better is a marathon of real-world road rules challenge at home. I just don't want to be there. And one of the worst things about a line for me, too, is the idea of stasis. Like, I'm a pretty introverted person, and when I'm in a line, all I can see is you are going to be here forever. And so when I was in Cuba and I saw this, I was like, this is actually something that Cubans do better than Americans. This is really cool. And I think part of the reason why we travel is to have these experiences, to say, well, this is better here, or this could be better there, and I'm going to take this and bring it back to the States. I was like, I can't bring this back. Nothing is going to change. And a few months later, I'm waiting in one of these epic lines. It's, and I think most of us know this. This is one of those post office lines for Christmas. So I get to the post office, and it's out the door, literally out the door, like scarves and boxes. And I took a look at the line, and it was just, there goes Saturday. It was one of those kinds of lines. And I get in, and eventually we get inside. And I'm inside for a few minutes, and this voice erupts from the line. He goes, "Hey, yo, everybody, check this out. I went across the street to Dunkin' Donuts. I got us all some donut holes. We got to wait in this thing together, so let's do this, people." And this guy and his wife had done that. They had gone across the street and got boxes of donut holes, and they were starting to go around the line. And I'm seeing everybody kind of lighten up, and I felt really bad about my negativity. And I had this flashback, or multiple flashbacks to lines. I was like, wow, oh yeah, I've been in a lot of long lines. Like the time I was, by the time I was 8 and I was at King's Dominion, I was waiting to get on the Grizzly roller coaster. And the roller coaster was terrifying. I literally peed myself, but the line was awesome. Or when I went to see The Phantom Menace, terrible movie, but the line was amazing for 8 hours. And in reflection, I started to have like this nostalgic place where like actually a lot of great experiences have happened in long lines. And I had this euphoric connection. I was like, this is our utopia, people. And I was like, this is how we connect. And I was looking at people, and people are actually talking to each other. When you're in line, you're like, it's usually something else, and we're all in it together. And I was like, Cubans are awesome, and this guy with the donuts is awesome. And I was like, this is amazing. And I told myself, you know what? Next time I see one of these long lines with people who have long faces, I'm going to do something and be really proactive about it. And so, of course, didn't take very long. One of those lines awaited me. And it wasn't really a line. It was a mess of people. I was at a medical park building in Gaithersburg, Maryland. And I had to go to a doctor. And so I went in, and it was one of those times when I went inside, and like you could tell that the elevator hadn't come yet because there was already 10 people waiting and more people were coming in. And everybody just kind of had that look in their face. Most of us were going to gastroenterologists. And so it wasn't really an elated crowd. And eventually the doors opened to the elevator. It was one of those big hospital-style elevators for like gurneys and wheelchairs and like 15 seasons of cast members of ER. Like it just fit a lot of people. And I was the first one to get in that elevator. And I was like, I got two choices here. And I always have, any of us have two choices when we get into that elevator first. I can go all the way in the back, get on my phone and just get on IMDb and just keep to myself for like however long those floors take. Or I can be proactive and cut right around and get to the controls. And so I had that moment. I remembered the lines. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this. So I went to the controls and just started hamming it up. Like, I kept the door. I was like, come on, people, let's get in. Come on, who's going where? And like, people were smiling. I said, I'm going to the second floor. I was like, I got you, man. We're in this together. And I was just having a blast. And people were kind of like lightening up. I was like, this is crazy. And so we were pretty much packed in there. And we saw one of the last people who was taking a while. It was an older man who was slow. And he finally got into the elevator. And he took a look at the buttons that were pushed. And he just kind of nodded as in, my floor's already there. So let the doors close. And each floor that went up, you know, I kept the doors open and hammed it up again. Come on, people, have a good visit. You know, I hope the doctor gives you good news. And people gave me waves and smiled and everything. And we got to the fourth floor, and it was just this old man and me. And the doors open, and I pressed the open button to, you know, let him get out. And he's just pausing there for a second. And he turns to me, and he just takes his hand and just gives me this pat like that, and goes like that to me. And leaves and goes to his doctor visit. And I was dumbfounded. You know, I've had a good life. Like I've gotten raises and promotions and awards and, you know, good things have happened to me in my life. But that was like a Grammy for being a human being. I was like, that is the most amazing thing. And so I took a few things from that experience, and two of the most important things that I took from it and from all these experiences looking back is that, number one, when a line awaits me, I get anxious. But I get anxious in the best way now, where I think it's like the ideal moment in my day or my week or my month to really connect with people and really give people something. And the second thing is that it's never